Ziggittyzig back with griffventures of Griff number 17. This is a very special match between Griff and some chucklehead named Ziggy TTY Probably very closely related to TT1. Now, as you probably saw most recently, my custom thumbnails have started up, and this is the only one I don't really like. So hopefully today's one will be a brand new custom thumbnail for Griffventures of Griff, but we shall see. Hopefully I had a chance to make one up. Now, on the other hand, I had to change my Thwas one because I decided that after getting to silver, this was my whole plan, I wanted to change my portrait based on which league I was in. So for Bronze League, probe. Total probe all the time, because pretty much that's all it is. Look at this guy, this useless little face looking forward. But, well, maybe I should make it that guy. But I made it Zealot for silver to just depict that I am that next level up. I am now as good as attacking units. So this is a game between Griff and I. In fact, if you go over to youtube.com/limenotlemon, this is number 3, or no wait, number 2 I think this is today's game. This is a game where Griff and I said, alright, this was the random challenge where he wanted to make sure that he could defeat my 3-gate robo. So he said, alright, come at me with your 3-gate robo, because he always worries about not being able to beat it. So he says, I can't beat it, so come at me with it. This is the old come at me bro series. So what this is a cast of it, because it was a week ago that we played it, and he just said it just seemed like such a pretty sweet, decent match that maybe we should take a look and see what we did right and or wrong. Apparently I'm deciding to not get, oh no, there we go, alright. Not get my assimilator, but who's on this assimilator? Who is taking care of this? Not this guy. Oh, am I screwing up all my build and whatnot? Yes, I am. Look at that. So that's me screwing up which hotkey is which. Derp. But that's fine. So I start getting a Zealot, so I'm away to the races. So I don't try any 3-stalker rush, which seems sort of interesting. Meanwhile, what Griff is attempting is he's doing the standard wall-off, which is what he normally does just about in every matchup. Now, I've read over and over again that up against Terran, you don't wall off, and even up against Protoss. But I've started sort of looking at it, and I had a few ideas where you put up that just sort of free scout up at the edge of the ramp, but then of course the other thing in the PvP, you want to keep everything really close to your base, so I tried it in this one, and I tried not to branch out too far, so there I go. Now my Cyber Core is actually just a twinge behind Rift's, but that's only because our APM is so deceptively off. So there goes the warp gate. Both our warp gates happen pretty much at the exact same time. Our worker supply, Griff is a little bit ahead, but I have the army supply at the moment, mostly because I'm making 2 zealots. These 2 zealots mostly just kind of defense. I don't plan on pushing out. At least I shouldn't be pushing out. Not right away, anyway. So again, trying to look at this from Griff's perspective, because this is a Griff venture of Griff after all, and he's getting his second gas because might be a little bit of silly shenanigans going on here. Ooh, canceled the unit there, mostly because I think he was trying to have enough money to make this. Or maybe he just needed enough gas to make Ice Stargate. So this was the plan. This was going to defeat 3-gate robo. Meanwhile, a robotics base going on down at my base, where I've got the 3 zealots ready here. 4th zealot coming in. It's pretty much on par as far as the 2 Cyber Cores on their way. Griff getting an additional 2 gates in behind that, so 3-gate Stargate. 4-gate? Kind of a weird 4-gate, but there you go. Oh, there we are. So we got his 2 zealots at the moment, so we are pretty much on par. He is ahead in the worker supply and probably in income as well. I don't think I have... Oh, no, I do have. Do I have enough? Yep. So ziggittyzig has enough in the simulators. Here comes the very first Phoenix, which is going to be a lot of Phoenix play. Griff having a very good advantage over here, because this way he can actually see roughly what's going on. Although the scout-wise, I think neither of us have really done any kind of scouting, mostly because my only attempts at scout will be just to pretty much get in there. However, I'm also supply blocked, so that hasn't gone well. We'll have another pylon on the way, but Griff is just definitely that one little tiny step ahead. Here is a small contingency of units on my front ramp. There's Griff's on his front ramp. This Phoenix Possibly waiting for a friend, we shall see. Griff also getting a robotics facility in behind this as well. Neither of us really pushing out to expand just yet, except there goes an expansion on Ziggy's front and an observer coming through, but currently Griff does not see that. So here comes Griff's 2 units. Meanwhile, yep. So not fully aware of each other. Here's the third one. A few of these units getting chronoed out, I would expect. Yes, for 4 Phoenix almost. So I think on the 3 Phoenix, Griff decides to get ready to go. And here they come. So these Phoenix, they take out that one expanded probe, but then, oh, and here's where the problem arises, where they don't quite stick around to destroy things. Ziggy gets pretty lucky with the 2, I don't know, with 2 stalkers, you can pretty much pick up both of those, so I think Griff gave up just a little bit too easily there. But Ziggy's now on his toes, insofar as this is happening. Ziggy also with the observer, so he knows when Griff's expansions are going to start happening. Griff getting a few more units now. We're up to 4, so there's the 4 attacking units, and here they come again. Need to do a little bit of damage, and I think, yep, Ziggy left all of the attacking units behind. However, they're going to come all the way back up here once more. Ziggy trying to move the units around. So let's have a look at the, what's it? Yeah, there we go. Workers killed is at 8. And can't quite tell worker supply. Griff's still ahead even though he's only on 1 base because, well, Griff has thoroughly confused Ziggy's ability to gain any kind of gas. So that's a decent amount of pressure and just sort of harassment at the moment. Trying to see if there's anything further that can be done. Not really all that much. Ziggy just trying to get right back into the game, leaving a few units out here on the outskirts, as opposed to just putting down, oh, I don't know, off cannon or something. Passing a few cannons, and oh! There's a couple units killed, not able to pick up any of these Phoenix. Griff doing a very good job taking out the army, avoiding the workers, which kind of was the point, but that's alright because he's whittling down that army quite well. He having very little choice to do anything about this, and here come, oh good, Zealots have arrived! Hooray! Zealots have arrived to help. And once again, yeah, I think these Phoenix could really, really do quite a number down here, but Griff just not deciding to stay committed to that. Meantime, back in the base, Griff has finally expanded, getting a decent army unit down there. Ziggy has taken the lead for workers, however, they are now tied with army supply, but Griff has predominantly map control. I don't believe there's anything really coming out of the robotics bay facility at the moment. So with map control, confining Ziggy to the base, there's one small observer over here, and I think there's another one just in here in the main base. Getting +1 already, or that's not really going to be of benefit to the Phoenix, but I think Phoenix were mostly there for harassment. This could be overkill for harassment, and I think this is where the issue came in. We are now up at 8 Phoenix. And instead of doing anything but the Phoenix, deciding to go to multiple, there's 9, multiple gateways and going back to gateway units and trying to get +1 attack. So the issue there is that most of his army is wrapped up in these Phoenix, which can be support class at best. I'm not sure if they're full-on attacking units. At least not as a frontal attack versus this kind of army. Now, obviously, they can pick up the Immortal. That would probably be the best bet. Don't seem to have any further Immortals in there. Oh, here comes the second one. So Ziggy's being very careful just to make sure... Oh, look at that. Just parked right next to the Observer, and for some reason Ziggy does nothing about that. Here comes yet another Phoenix, and it looks like it's going to be harassment once more. For whatever reason, however, there's now a cannon behind this, and a cannon behind that one. So he comes over here with the air cannons, trying to take out these Phoenix. Trying to see if there's anything that can be done. A little bit, takes out one, takes out two. There are still a number of Phoenix left. I think only one has died. Meanwhile, racking up the worker kills, we're up to 14. Still doing quite an excellent job of harassment. Totally ruining the economy. Well, not fully ruining, but at least... Actually, he's still slightly ahead, so paying attention to the remainder of that. Maybe not focusing quite so much on those units, as now the Phoenix are headed home, and that pretty much is the end of them. So had that money gone into a much larger gateway army, then perhaps that could be a bit of a change. Meantime, he's got all of his units way up here because he's still paranoid about these annoying Phoenix, which keep coming out and ruining his day. Now at this point, yeah, I just gotta say that I think the Phoenix just need to either get in there and just attack and lift as many probes as possible. If they die, that's fine. Griff, meanwhile, bringing in a warp prism for whatever reason, but also deciding that, you know what, enough is enough. I'm done with the harassment. I'm gonna move out. So out he comes. Now this versus this army here, they are roughly equal as far as sentries go. I think they both... Oh no, Griff's got... Or Ziggy's got about 6 sentries. Griff moving everything back up here to the front, waiting to get his Twilight Council. Pretty even as far as EPM, and here comes a bit of a harassment by Zig. He comes in to try to pick off this third base, but things don't go quite his way because Griff has some zealots. I'm not sure they're charge lots just yet. No, doesn't appear to be. Ziggy possibly about to lose this entire army. Turns tail and runs. Griff doing an excellent job focusing down those Colossus. It's definitely the way you want to do it. Oh, he's got a graviton beam on him. That's cool. So here comes a warp prism. I don't think Griff quite saw that coming. Oh, most of the sentries make it out alive. That's different. So Ziggy decides, somehow gets extra gateways. I don't know. This guy's playing a lot better than I am, that's for sure. And he moves back. The army supply is actually still not all that weighted differently. It was just sort of a bad engagement at the time. So Griff handled that pretty well, using the Phoenixes to focus down the troublesome units, as they don't seem to be any really difficult ones at the time. Still more. No Twilight Council yet, because I think... Oh no, there must be one somewhere. Where is it? And why can't I see it? Oh, because that's just level 1. Alright, no upgrades for Ziggy. Griff's still deciding to move out with a few of these Phoenix. Not sure if their harassment is the way to go. Now, how on earth? Griff ahead of the army supply, slightly ahead with worker supply as well. Was it just the continual use of Phoenix? Ziggy finally moving out once more. Trying to get this third base up just to compare. Now, meanwhile, this is where things started to go kind of poorly. Griff had just moved everything out and decides to go in for the attack. Not really a lot he can do on a new base. There's a bit of an army just there, but meanwhile, Ziggy has moved into the main base of Griff and is starting to take things out. He's taking out this Stargate, for one thing. This entire army right here is not doing all that much about it. Meantime, these Phoenix not really getting anywhere, and there we go. Here it comes. Workers killed, up to 13. Suddenly that made all the difference. Army supply is slightly ahead. Griff is just getting a ridiculous amount of gas. I'm not sure what he's using all of his funds on, but just seems to be slightly problematic. Oh, this warp gate is probably gonna go down. But here come a few more. Ziggy just dropping in one base, followed by 2 base. Just taking out all the probes. 33 workers killed. Griff down to only 21 workers. Still killing the probes, 39. That was That was the maneuver of a desperate, desperate player, forgetting the Immortals behind, but remembering to bring the rest of the units. No charge lots, no upgrades, 0-0, in they come, not even waiting for reinforcements, can probably easily get taken out at this point. But he's committing to this, despite the fact that Griff has effectively no well, definitely a low income at the moment, but still not any size of an army in order to take this out. Losing pretty handily there. Not a whole lot left. Turning tail and running. Meantime, this last Stalker, has one kill. Hero Stalker does not survive. Meantime, here is still one Zealot who has survived this entire thing. Most of Griff's remaining probes are now at his natural base. Ziggy managed to rebuild his army there. Ziggy moves out with one observer, sees what's going on, realizes that this base is not long for this world. However, with a decent amount of units, comes down, picks off Griff from behind, just based on the visibility of that. Griff chooses once again not to fully engage, at least not, and this is when, there we go, not coming in with the Phoenix at the same time. That was a bit of a problem there. Wasn't attacking the full army. Here comes another attack from Zig, trying to hold himself together. While still at 0-0. Phoenix at 0-0. Griff's units, however, at 1-1. But just a few more units in from Zig. Griff's army's still in a better place, but it's the army itself which is just the wrong scale for what's happening. I don't know. It's looking pretty good because right now, almost a third base falls. Does not quite fall. Now Griff's got an observer on the entire thing. That's going well. However, down to 200, so what with the resource hijacking and sabotaging of the resource line, Griff also actually helped Ziggy keep his huge amounts of resources down. So look at these. That's actually not too bad. Probably come in and try to do something about this and bring in some more reinforced units. There's a couple of force fields from Griff. Not too bad, actually. That splits up the army nicely. However, the tickle beams, not quite enough to deal with this army. Ziggy not really doing the best job of focus firing, which is probably what you want to do. We're getting just a couple of free units there, and nope, not quite enough there. And these will all get taken out as well. Meanwhile, back at home base, he does continue to get some more units there. So just turning tail once more. Just a bit of a back and forth game. So now it does seem to be that with the worker supply and the income, Ziggy is ahead. However, Griff does have the superior army at the moment and upgrades. Ziggy currently working on finally getting some charge. I think Griff is already a charge, so charge and +1. Finally. That's quite ridiculous. A couple of cannons just as defensive measures for Zig. I think he's mined out at the main. Yep. Still getting a bit of gas there, but seeing nothing out of the Colossus Bay. Now just starting to get a couple of Colossus, which against a Phoenixing player, I'm not so sure about charge lots and Colossus. I think Blink probably would have made the most sense here, but at this point between these two, anything can happen. A couple more sentries, so just trying to work on army composition. Ziggy catching up very quickly to Griff, mostly because Griff being on 3 bases and not quite having the saturation or the economy to continue fighting this battle. So Zig doing the right thing, biding time and just waiting. Let's speed up the waiting. And there goes the worker supply. So here comes army supply. Is evening out, getting slightly ahead. Worker supply is actually still going a little bit further because, as you can see, Ziggy is almost fully mining out his second expansion there, being the third base. I always get confused when I hear things go back and forth that way. But another Colossus on the way. Ground weapons 1. I'm not sure. I don't think I saw... Nope. No extended thermal lance at the moment. However, so here are the two armies once again meeting on the field of battle. Ziggy coming down with the pylon, the forward pylon, in order to re-engage, and this is pretty much what there is left. There are the force fields. Moving back, moving out, and this is when, oh goodness, most of this is just going to go down. This has not gone well. Griff's already actually +2 on the way. And this is where Ziggy makes a bit of a stand, and the stand actually turns out to be just fine. Griff with a fair amount of Guardian Shields. All the Guardian Shields going off, with the Guardian Shields just not working against the superior Stalker power. And Griff's army starting to crumble, just under the fact that all of the powerful cannons remained for Zig, but not so much for Griff. Finally get taken down. So +1 Stalkers, no micro whatsoever. Phoenix just didn't have anything left in them. And I think that pretty much does that. A few more Zealots on their way over. Charge lots move in. Don't last too long against this number of Stalkers, though. In a 2-on-2, Charge lots might have their way, but for the most part, this number of units is just not ready for it. I think he comes back in with some, actually not just Stalkers, comes with, there's an awesome force field right there, specifically with Zealots, just mixed up together, and now we've got the Charge lots, +1 Charge lots, comes in against this final base. Couple little observers sitting out here. Not much left. Still on a low worker count. Griff just could not get back, so the pressure of the Phoenix did some damage towards Ziggy's base, however, not near as much as that Warp Prism drop. I just want to go back and watch that really quick. I think it was around here. No... There? A little further. Aha! So there's the Warp Prism. Dig coming down with a pretty full army, but this is when the Warp Prism pretty much totally loses out. Observer down here. Yeah, okay, so keep your eye right there. Alright, here comes the Warp Prism. It's got 4 Stalkers in it, which I didn't think you could fit. I thought you could only fit 2 Stalkers, but that's just Immortals that need that fit. Come on. Here it comes. So here's the move. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's Griff's army moving upward. I warp in 6 Zealots to go with it. I'm putting down a base. Putting down my 3rd base up here. Meanwhile, the Phoenixes are getting ready. Meanwhile, I move this guy. There goes the Phoenix as well. And I bring him over here to do the exact same thing. Meanwhile, here's this Phoenix. This blob of Phoenixes coming up into my base. And then I screwed up that drop, so that could have gone a lot better, because I was looking back at my base and I was trying to get my guy going. So another 6 Zealots in this base. And then I just hop over here and get ready to do the exact same thing. Wait for the warp in. Income another 7. Somehow this Warp Prism gets out. I gotta credit that Warp Prism for a lot of kills right there. 29, 30. 32. Still a couple up here. 36. If I remember correctly, it ended at 39. Or did it keep going? Yeah, 39 was as far as I got. Oh, I was pretty pleased with myself there. So that was a Griff Venture of Griff, where he tries to fight off the 3-gate robo of mine with some Phoenix play. So I think committing to the Phoenixes, or maybe just not doing quite as much, following up the Phoenix with an immediate gateway push, probably would have done it. But like what I did is I went in and I dropped off units and I just let them die. So maybe I should be doing some more Warp Prism play. I don't know. I only feel comfortable doing silly crap like that against Griff because I know it doesn't matter. That was a match. Leave me a message down below. Send me an email, ziggittyzig@gmail.com, or follow me on Twitter at ZiggyStarcraft. If you want to see more of myself and that guy Griff, you can check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/limenotlemon. Send us an email, contact@limenotlemon.com, or follow us on Twitter @notlemon. All one breath once again. Booyah. Stay tuned!